Hey guys, so I actually just got back from getting my blood drawn for some tests that my new primary care doctor wanted to run after I saw him yesterday. But I wanted to tell you guys the story of what happened with my drug test at the caregiver job that I recently got. So it was just a urine drug test, and it was one of those drug tests that they can read basically right away. And my drug test was actually positive for benzos. Now, I have never in my entire life had a drug test come up positive. I don't do drugs other than those that are prescribed to me by a physician. But for some reason it showed up positive for benzos. So the HR lady pulled me to the side while we were waiting to do one-on-one interviews with the owner of the company, or the franchise, I guess I should say. And basically she's like, so you tested positive for benzos, and I was just wondering, if you take any medicines. And so I was telling her like my list of medications, because obviously I take quite a few different medications, and she was basically just trying to find out what medications I take, to see like if one of them could have showed up as a benzo. So she asked me if I take like Xanax or anything like that, and I said no, because I don't. Um, and then, I told her I take gabapentin, and I wasn't sure if that could show up as a benzo, which I did some research and it doesn't normally show up as a benzo. But then I also take Zoloft for my depression, and apparently that can show up as a benzo, which confuses me because it's not a benzo. Um, but apparently it can show up as a positive for benzos, which, like, I wish somebody would tell you that, your medication that you're prescribed could show up as a positive for drugs on a pre-employment drug test. I mean, she basically, when I told her the medications that I take, she basically was like, okay, well, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. Because she didn't know if gabapentin could show up as a benzo, um, or anything like that. And I mean, she knows that I'm not the type of person to do drugs, because she and I have been talking for basically a little over a year now, back and forth, and I just finally decided to go through with the job at the franchise. But it was just kind of, irritating, because I have to take all these drugs, um, and I do take quite a few different medications, but the medications that I'm prescribed are showing up as positive on a pre-employment drug test, which, like I said, it shouldn't happen. But just so you know, if you take Zoloft, it can show up as a benzo. So if you go for a pre-employment drug test or physical or whatever, and they drug test you, please let them know that you take Zoloft, because I wouldn't want you to miss out on an employment opportunity just because you have depression. I mean, that sucks, like, big time. Um, and honestly, I don't know if I'm going to continue working with this caregiver franchise, but I also just got an interview this morning while I was at the medical center getting my blood drawn. An HR person from a facility that I used to work at, the one that did 12-hour shifts, they called me this morning to come to an interview. So I'm going to go and try to get that job again. If they ask me if I worked there before, I'm going to tell them yes, obviously, because I have. But, I'm hoping that they will still allow me to get the job. Otherwise, I'm just gonna, keep trying to find other things. But that was a really good job. It was a union job, and union CNA jobs in this area are very, very hard to find. I do have like a part-time overnight CNA job that is looking for people at like more of an assisted living / memory care type setting, but I don't know about the part-time aspect of that. Like, I'm looking for something full-time, obviously, but it all just depends on what I'm able to get. Hopefully this interview on Monday goes well. Um, and I have to schedule like all these appointments also for, you know, my new doctor yesterday. And I will talk about that in another video, kind of giving you guys a little bit of a health update, because a lot of things were discovered yesterday that should have been told to me a while back, like when I was in the hospital as an inpatient. So I'm kind of upset that my doctor, my old primary care doctor, never told me this information. So now I'm on additional medications and I need to go see a dietitian and do some other stuff. Step one for him was doing the blood work, which I just saw him yesterday and I went this morning. I could have gotten it done yesterday if I hadn't eaten like before I went into his office to see him. But of course I'm going to eat because it was at 2 o'clock, and in the morning I had my hearing aid appointment. Well, not hearing aid appointment, hearing test, and then all of that stuff. So I don't know. I will make another video though to tell you guys like an update on what happened with the hearing test, the second hearing test that I did yesterday, and then also talking about like my experience with my new primary care doctor and all of that, for those of you who are interested. So I will keep you updated on how everything goes with the job interview on Monday, and cross your fingers for me. I hope that it's a good thing. But yeah. Anyways, with that being said, I will talk to you guys again in my next video.